Which countries top the list as the most hazardous to live right now? This video explores the top 12 countries where dangers from political unrest, economic instability, and violent conflicts make daily life a gamble. We'll dive deep into the conditions that contribute to the instability in these regions, including first-hand accounts and recent statistics that paint a vivid picture of the realities faced by the residents. From the ongoing war zones in Ukraine and Syria to the economic collapse in Venezuela, we uncover what makes these places some of the toughest to live. Keep watching as we not only reveal what's happening on the ground, but also provide insights that go beyond mainstream coverage, offering a unique perspective that you won't find anywhere else. Let's get a deeper understanding together and perhaps learn why the global stage is more interconnected than ever. Starting off with number 12. South Sudan is grappling with one of the world's most severe humanitarian crises. Since gaining independence in 2011, the country has been mired in civil war, resulting in over 400,000 deaths and the displacement of more than 4 million people, according to the Council on Foreign Relations. Violence between ethnic groups and armed factions has made daily life perilous, with nearly 7 million people facing food insecurity. The lack of basic services like healthcare and education, compounded by ongoing conflict, means that survival is a daily challenge. In 2024, South Sudan remains one of the most dangerous countries to live in. Moving on to number 11, we turn our focus to Afghanistan, a country that has faced profound challenges in the wake of recent political changes. Since the U.S. withdrawal in 2021, Afghanistan has been plunged into a state of uncertainty and instability. The Taliban's return to power has led to widespread fears of repression, particularly among women and minorities. Healthcare and education systems are on the brink of collapse, with millions facing severe shortages of basic necessities. According to the UN, 28 million people require humanitarian assistance in 2024, and over 6 million are internally displaced due to ongoing conflict and economic collapse. The country's deteriorating security situation, coupled with extreme poverty, makes it one of the most unsafe places to live today. Coming in at number 10, Syria remains one of the most hazardous places to live due to its prolonged conflict. Syria has been ravaged by civil war since 2011, leading to over 500,000 deaths and displacing more than 13 million people. The conflict has left much of the country's infrastructure in ruins, with entire cities like Aleppo and Raqqa reduced to rubble. According to the UN, 90% of Syrians now live in poverty, and essential services like electricity, water, and healthcare are severely limited. Ongoing violence, including airstrikes and ground battles, continues to threaten civilian lives daily, making Syria one of the most dangerous countries to live in 2024. Next up at number 9, Libya continues to struggle with deep-seated instability and violence, making it one of the most dangerous countries to reside in. Libya has been engulfed in chaos since the fall of Muammar Gaddafi in 2011, with multiple militant groups vying for control. The lack of a unified government has led to ongoing violence and lawlessness, making daily life extremely hazardous. Public services like healthcare, education, and electricity are severely disrupted, and basic safety is a constant concern for civilians. The UN reports that nearly 1.3 million people require humanitarian assistance, and human rights violations, including abductions and torture, are widespread. Libya's political instability and the presence of armed factions continue to destabilize the country, keeping it among the most unsafe places to live. At number 8, Somalia remains one of the most perilous countries in the world due to ongoing conflicts and governance issues. Somalia has faced decades of instability, primarily due to the presence of terrorist groups like Al-Shabaab and the absence of a strong central government. The security situation is dire, with frequent bombings, kidnappings, and attacks targeting civilians and aid workers. The lack of effective governance has led to a breakdown in law and order, making everyday life highly dangerous. The UN reports that over 6 million people are in need of humanitarian assistance, with many facing severe food insecurity. For those living in Somalia, the constant threat of violence and the absence of basic services make survival a daily struggle. Moving to number 7. Yemen is another country where living conditions are extremely dangerous due to ongoing conflict and humanitarian issues. Yemen has been devastated by civil war since 2015, leading to one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. The conflict between Houthi rebels and the Saudi-led coalition has resulted in over 377,000 deaths, with many more displaced. According to the UN, more than 21 million people, around 80% of the population, are in need of humanitarian assistance. The war has crippled Yemen's infrastructure, leaving millions without access to clean water, healthcare, or adequate food supplies. The ongoing violence, coupled with widespread famine and disease outbreaks, poses severe risks to the safety and well-being of those living in Yemen. At number 6. Iraq continues to face significant challenges even after the defeat of ISIS, making it one of the most dangerous countries to live today. Although ISIS was officially defeated in Iraq in 2017, the country continues to grapple with security challenges. Militias, insurgent groups, and sporadic terrorist attacks remain a threat, particularly in areas like Baghdad and Mosul. The fragile political environment and ongoing corruption further destabilize the nation, hindering recovery efforts. Additionally, Iraq faces significant difficulties in rebuilding its infrastructure and providing essential services to its population. According to the UN, around 1.2 million people remain internally displaced, and millions more live in areas with limited access to health care, education, and clean water, making life in Iraq precarious. Next on our list at number 5, the Central African Republic, or CAR, continues to face severe instability, making it a highly unsafe place to live. The Central African Republic has been plagued by continuous armed conflict since 2013, involving government forces, rebel groups, and militias. This relentless violence has devastated the nation, leading to widespread displacement, with over 1.4 million people currently displaced. The ongoing conflict has severely impacted societal structures, leaving millions without access to basic necessities like food, healthcare, and education. The UN has labeled CAR as one of the most dangerous places for both locals and travelers, with reports of violence, abductions, and attacks being commonplace. The persistent insecurity and lack of government control contribute to the country's dire living conditions. At number 4, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, or DRC, faces severe challenges due to ongoing conflicts, making it one of the most dangerous places to live. The Democratic Republic of the Congo has been marred by violent conflicts for decades, primarily driven by various rebel groups and militias vying for control over the country's rich natural resources. These conflicts have led to widespread atrocities, including mass displacement, sexual violence, and significant loss of life. According to the UN, over 5 million people are currently displaced within the DRC, and large areas remain inaccessible due to ongoing violence. The constant insecurity affects daily life, with limited access to basic services like healthcare and education. The DRC remains one of the most dangerous and unstable countries in the world. Coming in at number 3, The region of Palestine remains fraught with political and military tensions, significantly impacting the safety and daily lives of its residents. Palestine, particularly the Gaza Strip and West Bank, continues to experience intense political and military tensions, primarily due to the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Daily life in these regions is marked by frequent military operations, airstrikes, and clashes between Israeli forces and Palestinian militants. The situation has led to severe restrictions on movement, economic hardship, and limited access to essential services like healthcare and education. According to reports from human rights organizations, civilians often bear the brunt of the violence, with thousands displaced and living under constant threat. The persistent conflict makes Palestine one of the most dangerous regions to live in. At number 2, Ukraine remains a critical focal point due to the ongoing military conflict with Russia, making it one of the most dangerous places to live in 2024. Ukraine has been embroiled in a devastating conflict with Russia since February 2022, resulting in significant loss of life and widespread destruction. The war has caused massive displacement, with over 8 million Ukrainians fleeing the country and millions more internally displaced. Civilian safety is under constant threat from missile strikes, artillery fire, and ground battles, particularly in eastern and southern regions. The conflict has severely disrupted daily life, with critical infrastructure, including hospitals, schools, and homes, being destroyed. The ongoing war has plunged Ukraine into a humanitarian crisis, making it one of the most dangerous countries to live in today. Rounding out our list at number 1, Venezuela continues to be one of the most perilous places to live due to its ongoing economic and political crisis. Venezuela has been in a state of severe economic crisis and political turmoil for over a decade, which has led to widespread insecurity and violence. Hyperinflation, food and medicine shortages, and a collapsing healthcare system have made daily life extremely challenging for its citizens. According to the UN, over 7 million Venezuelans have fled the country, seeking refuge from the dire conditions. Those who remain face high rates of violent crime, including kidnapping and robbery, as law enforcement struggles to maintain order. The ongoing crisis has left Venezuela as one of the most dangerous countries to live in 2024. While today we've explored some of the world's most dangerous places, it's equally important to recognize that not all is grim. There are corners of the globe where peace and safety flourish, creating ideal conditions for thriving communities. In our next video, we'll uncover those unique spots around the world that stand as beacons of safety and stability in 2024. Did you know that one of the countries on our upcoming list has been ranked the safest for 5 consecutive years thanks to its exceptional healthcare system and low crime rate? Join us next time to discover these havens of tranquility that might just inspire your next move.